All right, happy to be bringing in Fernand Lopez, the owner of MMA Factory Paris, the sporting director of Aries Fighting, coming to us from Paris, France. And Fernand, I hate to start with the coronavirus stuff, but what's the situation over there, man? I mean, this is tough life. How are you living right there? What's the situation in France?
Yeah, this man, it's not easy at all. I just finished my training at home with a couple of guys in MMA Factory. We have our conditioning guy who is putting this online so we can train together with the phone and everything. And that's what we're doing right now because everything is locked down. Pretty much everything is locked down. So we need to stay home, and that's what we're doing. I mean, if I go with the numbers, it's kind of crazy in France. Let me check. We have over 52,000 new cases in France, and only today, only the last 24 hours, we had 7,000 more cases in France on COVID-19. And I'm not talking about dead people totally. We have only the last 24 hours, we have 500 new dead in France. So it's not kidding around.
Scary times, man. Scary times. It's unfortunate. I mean, we thought this was going to be a great year in France for us MMA fans, right? I mean, the sport finally got legalized. I thought for sure I was going to be seeing you in your gym, coming over there and doing a UFC event, but obviously the entire world has changed. But let me know. I mean, how long is it going to be till we get a UFC event over there in Paris? I mean, now that we're legalized, are there still obstacles other than this global pandemic, of course, or does it look like, you know, we're ready to go with MMA in France?
Definitely. I mean, if we go out of the pandemic, the box federation in France will be ready to go by the months of August, probably September. In the last, I mean, if they push back too much in September, everything will be okay. We need a couple of paperwork, and then after the paperwork, everything is done already for the MMA. So the MMA is definitely legalized, and they just need to bring the frame that we promotion we have to follow in order to have the good promotion in Paris. So, but that being said, if I go with what going on out there, I don't think we're going to have the UFC in France before 2021. I don't think that will happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think we might end up with a lot of UFC events with no fans for a while, so it's a weird time. Talk to me about the state of MMA in France, because obviously, you know, you've been coaching for a long time over there. Famously, of course, Francis Ngannou came through your gym. We've got Cyril Gane now. I mean, I've got Samir Fadine as a Cage Warriors champ out of France. I mean, how much talent is over there? Because, I mean, we've had a couple names, you know, over the years, but with it being illegal there, I've got to think it was tough to train. So what kind of talent base do we have over there in France right now?
That's weird, because we are the one that get the latest people that get the MMA legalized. But I think that push out to train a little bit more, to have a little bit more, to push a little bit more the hard work, because we made it to find the opportunities in the adversity. So I think because we used to travel, we had to travel every time to go in the hostile territory and fight, make people become very, I mean, we work a lot for that. And France still have a lot of talent in some sport like Muay Thai, like judo, like we have that background, that combat background in France a lot. So now people start to believe that, you know, when the MMA start, that was a long time ago, like, you know, like 20 years in France. For a Frenchman to be in the UFC, that was very rare. And the people that was going in the UFC was going just for one fight. We didn't believe at the time that a Frenchman can become something big in the UFC. And when we start to stand, when I get Taylor Lapillus in the UFC, It was by the time he was 22, and people they didn't really understand what this kid was doing there because we didn't have a lot of fight with him. But he did good with a 3-win over 4 fight. And after that, we got this Michael Lobu, and then we had got Francis Ngannou. So yeah, MMA Factory brought that trust to believe that a French guy can become something and move in, and that's what Francis Ngannou shows in the UFC. And now Cyril Gane just getting in the top 15, and we still have more and more of good talents guy coming even out of MMA Factory Paris. In Paris, in French generally, we have a lot of talents coming up. So yeah, I think we just find the opportunities into the adversity. That's it.
Nice. You mentioned Taylor Lapilus. I got to ask you about him real quick before we talk about Aries. What happened to him? He was 3-1, and then he's just gone. What's going on with him?
That's crazy. I just had the kid this morning. It was going crazy because we have this young guy who contacted me a couple time ago to come train with us. His name is Capel Manel. He's from Angola in Africa, and he lives in Thailand. And we just found out yesterday that he signed with the UFC. And there's 2 guys that Taylor Lapilus just knocked out that beat Manel Capel, but Manel Capel, coming from Rising, still signing the UFC. That's kind of crazy coming from a guy that is double champ in the GMC in Germany. He is the champ in TKO in Canada. He have a decent record in UFC, which is 3-1. And also, he just beat recently in the TKO most of the top prospect that UFC can get. The guy that was just on straight off win, and he just beat them like very quick on the KO. And we don't really understand what's going on with this kid. I think that the same, like there's some fight curse, like this fight with Khabib Ferguson. I think the Taylor Lapilus case is a little bit cursed, and I really hope that at some point Sean will really check on that and check on this kid and see what he can do and get him back in the roster quick.
I like it. I think he should be there too. All right, let's talk about Aries FC because you're involved with this promotion. It's just launching. One event in the books, but what's your role there exactly as sporting director, and kind of what's the overall concept? What makes it unique?
Well, the concept with Aries is just something new, which is having a new event, a new promotion coming there. We really know how this market is hard. This business is so tough. You know that more than me, John. It's not easy to come there. There's so many shows who come out there and throw money in the window, and then after 2-3 shows, just stop everything. We have the opportunity to have the mass media, Vivendi, backing up everything and then pushing the RS. And RS is coming to bring the quality of broadcast, like you saw in our first show, our very first show in the UFC Fight Pass. People, if there's people out there who didn't saw the show, they can still catch up in the UFC Fight Pass library. And there's a lot of things that we can improve for sure. But for the first show, that was a lot in terms of production, in terms of the quality of fighter we get there. A lot of prospect that should go to the UFC. A lot of UFC veteran that was there. Joe Menier from Canada, one of the top prospects after GSP in Canada. We had Taylor Lapilus from France, the #1 in the bantamweight, one of the best in Europe. We had this guy Sajewski coming from Poland, UFC veteran also, and we have Nasruddin Imavov. I think this guy is going to be the UFC champion in welterweight at some point, or even middleweight. The guy is coming from Dagestan, Nasruddin Imavov. this last time I'm not sure that I saw a guy that kind of well rounded in the MMA. And so yeah, the project is just to go there, having good talent from Africa, having good talent from Europe, mostly in France, because like you see, there's a lack of place, a lack of good fighter, a lack of exposure platform to give the opportunity to fighter in France to showcase a lot of talent in Africa that not being light up. So that's what we're trying to do. We just try to bring the good show in Africa, in France, in Europe, and then bring the content, a lot of good quality content, and a lot of opportunity to give to the fighter the decent way to live. Like if you think having people like Juan Adams, like John Moraga, like Hector Sandoval, like Wilson Reyes, like Nordin Taleb, this guy was in the UFC, right? And the so was going on in the UFC. If they decide to trust a new promotion like RS, means a lot, means that we are giving them something that is unique. And that's I really think that in the next 2 years we're going to learn, we're going to evolve, we're going to lose money, we're going to struggle, but in the end of the day we will be count in the top major promotion around the world.
I like it. You know, you mentioned what a challenging business it is, regardless of what's going on. But to host your first event and then right away the global pandemic pops up, you've got to reschedule shows and deal with that. I mean, how challenging has that been from your standpoint? And I mean, is this, you know, I don't want to say anything bad, but I mean, is this potentially crippling for a brand new promotion to have to deal with this kind of stuff right out of the gate?
Definitely it's challenging. But again, we didn't get at this point by sitting there and just waiting that everything will happen. You know, I mean, there's been a lot of storm amongst the among things. So this is a storm that we're going into. What we have to do is, first of all, be humble against this pandemic. We really need to know that this is a big thing. This is not to tell lightly, okay? And then be responsible, which is no matter how hard it is to take the decision, but the decision become easy to take when there's that kind of people, that kind of number of people there, that kind of like dangerosity of the virus out there is something serious. I mean, this is not something to take lightly. To be honest with you, if I go with the numbers, like I said again, in US, guys, this is crazy. You guys have like today, you have like 176,000 people sick out there. You guys have only the last 24 hours, 12,000 people. You have like 300 dead the last 24 hours. This is serious thing there out there. So at the same time, it's hard to push back an event because in one event you have 24 fighters. Behind each fighter, you have a family, you have a company, you have kids, you have people living behind each family, each fighter. So you know that you're breaking heart to people because they're living, I mean, they need to make money to bring something to eat on the table. So this part is very hard to me to announce to the fighter. We push back again the event because of this, because of that. But with the time, when you think it's about not getting people stuck somewhere, if you go back and see Edward coming from, he was supposed to have the main event in London, UFC. And at some point, he had the call saying to you, you need to fly in Vegas so you can have the fight there. And he was like, okay, if I fly in, can I make sure that I will fly back to my family? And that was a little bit jeopardy. He couldn't no one couldn't guarantee that. So this is the point, that before taking any decision, we need to think seriously and know how to save people. Okay, I can help you because I want to give you a fight and then make you make money. But if I bring you there and you get stuck there and you get sick there and you bring the sickness in your home, then I didn't help you in the end of the day. So yeah, this is the new challenge, and we know that. I have a big team that I'm really proud to work with people like the chairman, Robin Chalewachu, who is one of the the wise men in the sport business around, and all my team that I will be really pleased to introduce to you, like Emmanuel Buscas, Guillaume Mel, or Benjamin Safati, or Camille, or Elia, all those people who are helping us to work and think every day. We had today era of meeting via computer like we are doing right now, and we're working every day. We need to find opportunities is harvesting again. Like I said, we know that we are not going to have an event in the next 4 months. That's an opportunity to work on the process, make sure that we improve our process, make sure that we bring the RS 2.0. When we come back, we will come back with new mindset, something very, very, very improved. So this is opportunity also to do something good.
Yeah, like you said, unfortunately, we're kind of at the mercy of this, COVID-19 as to when the world gets going again. But we're still fight fans. We still want to try to enjoy something. So you mentioned some big names there, the free agents that you guys have signed. Are there any fights that you're lining up already that you're expecting to happen when you do get back to business? So at least we can have something to cheer for. And is Rug one of those guys? Because that dude is something unique.
Definitely, Rug is not going anywhere. Rug is not moving at all. This guy will be probably in all our show if he's not injured, because this is the DNA of RS. This guy is tough as nail, and I mean, the guy is coming from that culture of wrestling in Africa, Senegal, that traditional wrestling, folkloric wrestling, but still the guy is working every day to improve his MMA. So I really think this guy, you guys will keep seeing him a lot. Like I said, yeah, tough as fuck, and I'm counting. Don't count him out. So out of that, like I said again, we were supposed to have this fight against Taylor Lapillus and Wilson Reyes in South Africa. This is one of the fights that we will be keeping. So this is, I mean, the announcement is like the next time that we have that fight, we are back for sure. I think that fight can be one of the. They can go challenge the award of the fight of the years, because yeah, Taylor Lapillus is kind of very good on the striking department, BGG black belt, just as Wilson Reyes, who had been fighting in the top level, fought for the belt in the UFC. So I think this fight in the bantamweight division will be something great. So this is one of the fights that I definitely want to make happen. And for sure, when we get back, I will have Rislen Zouak, the two-time Olympian judo from Morocco and France, fighting against Amanda Lino. Amanda Lino, the first time in UFC in South Africa, and they had the fight of the years in all Africa. And Amanda Lino got crowned as a champ, and they are having the match, the second fight, the second bout in the next time that we appear, that will be with these two fights for sure.
Very nice. Well, Fernand, I've taken enough of your time up there, man. I know you're a busy man, like you said, a ton of meetings, but it's always good to catch up with you, man. From the days of translating to for your French fighters in the UFC media days to now you're a powerful executive in the sport, man. It's awesome to see your growth, man, and it's always a pleasure to catch up with you. And man, whenever we can get back to business, I look forward to talking to you again and seeing your shows on UFC Fight Pass.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate what we're doing, John. I mean, MMA Junkie, without you guys, I'm not sure that we will be there out there. So thank you to keep the show goes on with this pandemic. You still working and you still making this happen. So thank you so much.